Welcome back. In this segment, you will learn and understand macro and micronutrients and what role they play in your diet. Almost any food you eat is mostly water, especially whole foods. Some fruits and vegetables are as high as 99% water. The bulk of the solid materials consists of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. If you could remove these materials, you would be left with a small residue of minerals, vitamins, and other compounds. While all people need the same nutrients, different people need different amounts of these nutrients. Nutrient requirements depend on age, gender, and pregnancy or state of lactation. Many other factors such as occupation, sports participation, state of health, and even environmental temperature can have minor effects on nutritional requirements. Macronutrients are the type of nutrients that your body needs in the largest amounts in order to function properly. They provide your body with energy measured in the form of calories. There are three types of macronutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Each gram of carbohydrate and protein consumed supplies your body with 4 calories, and each gram of fat provides 9 calories. Only one other substance that people consume supplies calories, and that is alcohol, which provides 7 calories per gram. Alcohol is not considered a nutrient because it does not help maintain or repair body tissue the way nutrients do. So how much of these macronutrients should you consume? It is not the quantity, but rather the quality of fats, carbohydrates, and proteins that matters for weight loss and health. Select higher quality or healthier fats. For example, choose monounsaturated or polyunsaturated fats rather than saturated or trans fats. Some examples of higher quality fats are avocados, olive oil, variety of nuts, omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. Select higher quality carbohydrates. For example, choose whole foods packed with fiber, such as vegetables, fruits, and legumes rather than the ones that are processed. Choosing whole foods matters more than worrying about your intake of protein, carb, and fat. Most of us recognize carbohydrates as grains, foods like breads and pastas. Carbohydrates are generally divided into two groups, simple and complex. Carbohydrates are made up of 3 components: fiber, starch, and sugar. Fiber and starch are complex carbohydrates, while sugar is simple carb. Depending on how much of each of these is found in the food determines its quality. Common simple carbs added to food include raw sugar, brown sugar, high fructose corn syrup, fruit juice concentrate, and more. Try to avoid simple carbs. These are foods like soda, fruit juices, baked goodies and pastries, packaged cookies and candies, and most breakfast cereals. Select complex carbohydrates. Complex carbs pack in more nutrients than simple carbs. They're higher in fiber and digest more slowly. This also makes them more filling, which means they're a good option for weight control. Be sure to include the following complex carbohydrates as a regular part of your diet: whole grains, fiber-rich fruits, fiber-rich vegetables, beans, and legumes. Select plant-based protein over animal protein sources. In addition to providing the building blocks for healthy muscles and tissue, plant protein is beneficial for weight loss. Plant-based protein tend to be lower in calories and fat than animal proteins, but higher in fiber and essential nutrients. Whole food plant-based protein sources also do not contain cholesterol and contain low or no saturated fat. Important recommendation when selecting foods is to pick foods with high nutrient quality and high nutrient density. Select foods that have high content of nutrients on a per 100 calorie basis. Try to avoid empty calorie foods. These are foods that provide calories but few other nutrients. It is important to include a wide variety of nutritious foods and eat a well-balanced diet. A well-balanced diet is composed of approximately 10 to 35% protein, 45 to 65% carbohydrate with no more than 10% of this amount from added sugars or caloric sweeteners, and 20 to 35% from fat derived mostly from oils rather than solid fats. When selecting a particular diet plan, you will see an outline of what percentages of macronutrients are recommended. Using phone apps such as MyFitnessPal can help categorize the nutrients for you so you don't have to do all the math. The important part will be to enter the type of food and the amount you consume. On the other hand, if you are consuming whole foods and mostly plant-based foods, the exact composition of your nutrients is less important. In general, whole foods provide a wide variety of nutrients and are usually higher in fiber and less caloric. How to calculate your macronutrients. If you know the number of grams of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins in a food, you can calculate the number of calories in it. Simply multiply the carbohydrate grams by 4, the fat grams by 9, and the protein grams by 4. Add the totals together to obtain the number of calories. For example, a deluxe fast food hamburger contains 45 grams of carbohydrate, 27 grams of protein, and 39 grams of fat. This adds up to 180 calories coming from carbohydrates, 351 calories coming from fat, and 108 calories coming from protein. When you put the total together, the hamburger is 639 calories in total. The percentage of your total energy intake from carbohydrates, fats, and proteins can be then determined by dividing the number of calories from each energy nutrient by the total calories and then multiplying your answer by 100 to get the percentage. Unlike carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, vitamins and minerals do not supply energy or calories. They play a very important function and should not be ignored, but if you are consuming a well-balanced diet, you would be getting adequate amount of vitamins and minerals that your body needs. Now let's look at the macronutrient compositions of the most popular diets. Typical American diet: 50% carbohydrate, 15% protein, 35% fat. The average caloric intake is 2,200 calories per day. This diet is low in fruit and vegetables, dairy, and whole grains. It is, however, high in saturated fat and refined carbohydrates. The balanced nutrient, moderate calorie approach includes diets like the DASH diet or commercial plans such as Diet Center, Jenny Craig, Nutrisystem, Physicians Weight Loss, Weight Watchers, Volumetrics, and others. 55 to 60% carbohydrate, 15 to 20% protein, 20 to 30% fat. Daily caloric intake is usually 1,200 to 1,700 calories per day. These diets are low in saturated fat and ample in fruits, vegetables, and fiber. Very low fat, high carbohydrate approach examples are the Ornish diet, eat more, weight less, Pritkin diet, fit or fat, 65% carbohydrate, 10 to 20% protein, 10 to 19% fat. This diet doesn't have a set average for caloric intake. It offers more liberty since plant-based foods are generally very calorically dilute. The diet has limited intake of animal protein, nuts, seeds, or other fats, but it is very rich in fruits and vegetables while it provides many necessary vitamins and antioxidants. Low carbohydrate, high protein, high fat approach examples are the Atkins diet, Protein Power, and Stillman diet. 20% carbohydrate, 25 to 40% protein, 55 to 65% fat. This diet is very low in carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, and fiber. It strictly limits carbs to less than 100 to 125 grams per day. It can be too high in saturated fat and cholesterol. Moderate carbohydrate, high protein, moderate fat approach examples are the Zone diet, Sugar Busters, South Beach diet, Flat Belly diet. 40 to 50% carbohydrate, 25 to 40% protein, 30 to 40% fat. This diet can be low in carbohydrates. It can be also low in vitamins and minerals. As you can see, many different diets suggest different percentages of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Also, keep in mind that every person's nutrition needs are different and different diets work differently on everyone. The best advice in this case is to be mindful of the quality of the macronutrients you consume and keep an eye on your caloric intake. Make sure you keep up with your exercise routine and sleep schedule. Mahalo and aloha!